Please, if you can give a massive roar and a massive evoking 3 claps to Tracy, the beautiful DebtFreeDiva. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go, Tracy. Vinaka for your time and your efforts. I'm giving you the hug now.
Okay. You can hug later too.
Yes, please.
Hi. I normally can talk a lot louder without a microphone, so the fact I've got a microphone is quite exciting. So for those of you that don't know, so I'm Tracy, the DebtFreeDiva. Hang on, I do have a PowerPoint. Let's just get this. Here we go. Yay! Have any of you heard my story before? That's my mum. She definitely has. Okay, cool. So we're fresh. So that's awesome. So yeah, we'll jump straight into it and how it's important. So at the age of 18, I was given the opportunity to open a business. So I jumped in. I'm not one to say no to things. So I opened a gym coaching American-style cheerleading. And I know, crazy, right? And it was going really well. I had 4 gym locations towards the end. I had one in Hamilton, Tauranga, Rotorua, Cambridge. I had like 500 kids. It was doing really well. However, financially, it was not doing all that well. I didn't have a lot of I didn't have a lot of support around me, and the people that were meant to be mentoring me it wasn't the best. So I just kept swiping and barreled my way down to $94,000 worth of consumer debt. So at the age of 24, so 6 years later, I had to shut the doors on the business. We'll go back. So, this is not going well. That's fine.
It's going exactly how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You are.
Just my rock bottom. It's fine. So now there's a part of the story. So obviously I've been in the media and stuff about how I paid off all the debt. So I did manage to pay off all $94,000 in 3 years plus interest. So it was $111,000. Yeah. It's a lot of money. And a lot of people are generally interested in the numbers, the dollars and figures, and how I did it, all the side hustling, my job, all that kind of stuff. But there is part of the story that isn't widely known, so I'm really excited to share that with you today. And that's the exact rock bottom and the exact reason why I made the decision to pay off the debt as opposed to go bankrupt, because those were my 2 options at the time. So I'm going to show you exactly my rock bottom. So in the space of 3 months, all of this was going on. So I had a tumour removed from my throat. While I was away recovering from that, my boyfriend moved out of my house, so I came home. My support system was gone. 2 weeks after my surgery, I started my first ever full-time job. How many of you know how stressful it is to start a full-time job? Yeah. And especially because I had to work for a boss, not myself. It was very hard to adapt to. Then I went down the route of closing down my business, having to say goodbye to all the kids. So I was holding down the full-time job and coaching and trying to close it all down. I lost my group of friends at the time as well, because they were all involved with cheerleading, so they moved when I made decisions. I also had a lot of legal issues with closing down the business, so a lot of lawyers, all that kind of stuff. On my last day, when I was there, sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional. When I was there at the gym, packing everything down, had said goodbye to the kids, ready to go, my landlord actually showed up and gave me notice to move out of my house. So I was now all of a sudden homeless. That was on a Saturday. 2 days later, I went to an insolvency officer and I was facing this $94,000 of consumer debt. She told me at the time that you have to get rid of all the luxuries in your life if you go bankrupt. There's other ramifications of bankruptcy that people don't understand. So you can't put your name on a power bill or a phone bill or anything for at least 7 years. So you're 100% dependable on other people. You'll never get a mortgage in your life unless you do it through a company, and that's all very crazy. Even things like a student loan, can't get one of those, so I couldn't be able to study again. So with all of this in mind, I went home, and this is the face that was looking at me. My little dog. So this is Teddy. So we always joke that Teddy's the $94,000 dog because I would have had to give her up if I went bankrupt. And I went home and decided that this was my support system, and I'd made a decision and a commitment when I took her on as a puppy. And so, yeah, Teddy still lives with me. She just couldn't come today because she's really lazy, so she's sleeping. So that's how the Diva story sort of came about. So then, of course, I had to go through this massive change, a complete lifestyle change for me. I had to make a lot of sacrifices, a lot of choices very quickly to be able to even afford to live. And then, of course, came the mountain of paying off the debt as well. So I was told it was going to take me 16 years of living on the absolute bones of my butt to do it, and I did it in 3. So I think that's amazing. It was hard, a little bit hard, but I am here to talk today about why, like what the thought process was that I went through to find the tools, because obviously the strength it took me to make the decision, first of all, to pay it all back, obviously was monumental. So here today, sorry, I just got a bit emotional. It's the first time I've like listed it all out like that. So
Go there.
Cool. So the first thing that I did was I'm like, what am I good at? So I needed to find my strengths. Now I know that when you go down this path, there's a lot of people that say, oh, find your biggest strength. For me, I had to find the constant strengths. So what I mean by that is something that you show up and do every single day without realizing it that helps your life. So we'll just get on to the next one. So if you're good at something, you're going to be more likely to do it. Who agrees with me on that? Yeah. How many times do you like have your list of to-do, like your to-do list, and all the things that you like just really bad at, you put like down the bottom, and then you get to the end of the day and you're like, oh, you're really stressed about it. Put your hand up if that's you, because it's me. Yeah. Cool. So a lot of times, like, you'll find your big strength. So for me, I have a lot of energy. I'm a very energetic person. Those of you that follow my social media will see just how many things I can fit into a day. Just to give you an idea, at the moment I'm working a full-time job. I have 7 side hustles as well that I'm working. I also do dancing, so a range of different dance classes. I also, like last weekend, I ran a half marathon, so I do a bit of training and stuff like that. Also, obviously, Teddy gets a lot of attention, otherwise she suffers cuddle deficit, and then I don't sleep, so that's great. So I do have a lot of energy, so I know that's one of my big strengths, but I also know that that's a constant strength, so I can do that every day, as long as I plan for it. Does that all make sense? We got any questions on it? No? Okay, so how do we find our strengths? That's another thing. So when I work with people, a lot of times they go, oh, I'm not good at anything. And we always have this little voice in the back of our head that says that. So we're just going to tell that voice to leave. What do? We clapped it away, right?
Yes.
Yeah, can we do that? Can you
Yes.
do that? Ready?
All right. You come up down.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah! That's so cool. A lot of times you'll have this little voice in your head saying, like, not good at anything. That's rubbish. Like, most of you bought a ticket to come here, right? Yes? Or got a ticket online. So that means that you're good with technology. You know how to connect a computer. You can type. 3 things right there that you're good at, just to come to an event. The fact that you're here means that you're good at recognizing yourself, you're good at helping yourself, and you're good at training your mind. Oh, amazing. 3 things that you're good at. Getting here, you're either good at driving, or you're good at walking, or you're good at cycling, or somehow moving from one place to the other. That's still a strength, and it's a constant strength. It's something you can do every single day to help. So like a lot of the mental battles that I dealt with, particularly around getting up and getting moving, because as you can imagine, the mental frame of mind I was in back then, it was really hard to get out of bed some days. So I put my walking shoes next to the bed, up, shoes on, out the door. And to this day, that's my routine, every single day. Up. The other thing I do is I have an automatic coffee machine, so I wake up and there's a fresh pot of coffee for me. So my house smells really yum every day. I know it's a little, like everybody's giggling, but it's the little things. Literally you wake up, you're like, That smells nice. Shoes on, coffee in the mug, out the door I go, and I'm up for the day, ready to go. So I just want to take a little bit of time to reflect. I want you guys to write down one big strength, something that you know that you're really good at, and one constant strength, something that you show up every day and do. We've all got notebooks, right?
Connecting.
Connecting. Okay, you can put take like all
She ready?
Anybody else?
Creation.
Anybody else? Communication. Love it.
Smile.
Smiling, yes. Tenacity. Right, one more.
Problem solving.
Guys, we have some amazingly skilled people in this room. That is so cool. Excellent. Alright, did anybody learn something about themselves that they didn't know before or they hadn't thought of before? No, not really? Kind of?
That I really enjoy receiving treats, and that's like a constant thing that I really enjoy.
Treats, like a love language, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You'll get on with tea.
Yeah. My dog also likes receiving treats. Cool. Alright, so the next big thing is building an environment. So now remember I said I lost my entire group, like friend group altogether. So I was alone. I had my mum. So mum's been number one supporter the whole time. So I was alone, so I had to rebuild basically from the ground up, which was terrible. However, I turned it into a really great thing because I could now allow people into my life or allow things into my life or my environment that suited me, that I wanted there. So there's a lot of glitter that came in, so let's go. Now, people, so your tribe. Now, we've all got the basics, so friends, family, flatmates. I live with flatmates. Other things, counsellors. Sometimes you need to see a counsellor. Instructors, you know, like gym instructors, whoever. Life coaches, fitness coaches. I have a life coach. I have had a life coach for the sort of 2/3 of my financial journey. That was something that I budgeted in and paid for because it was really, really helpful. So, I want you guys to write down 2 people in your tribe that you can think of that create your environment. Does that make sense? It made sense in my brain. I don't know if that's good. Alright. Does anybody want to share somebody in their tribe? Your daughter.
Thank you.
I'm being with my parents.
Your parents?
Parents.
Parent?
Parents.
Parrot.
Yeah.
Cool. Does your parrot also like treats?
Oh, she likes.
Oh, excuse my spelling. Is there 2 T's on the end of parrot? No. Spelling's not my strength. Anybody else? Tribe? One more tribe.
Well, my tipuna.
Can you spell that for me?
C-I with a macaron over the top. P-U-N-E.
Oh. Alright, anybody want to share their surroundings? Environmental surroundings. Thanks.
Yeah. Internal when I listen to music that I love.
Excellent. We're going to share?
If you got distracted, I got you.
Oh. Art.
Being outside as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Away from cars and
And
laptops and whatnot. Yeah.
gym.
And the gym. Oh, all right. Now we're going to do something a little tricky. So we're going to use our strengths in our environment to build a habit that changes our mindset. How's that? Cool. So I've put an example there. So I have really high energy, and being in nature is really important to me, like being outside. So habit, I get up, go for a walk in the morning. Literally, I get very grumpy if I don't go for my morning walk. I know it sounds really weird, but it's now a habit. Oh, so have a look at your strengths, have a look at your environment, and think of something you can create that can either, you can implement daily, weekly, monthly, that helps you towards getting yourself out of your rock bottom. So if I use my high energy as another example, and I'm also, one of my big strengths is that I'm incredibly organised, very organised person. So, incredibly organised. So, I use that to be able to work 7 side hustles to earn the money to pay back my debt. Yeah? Does it all make sense? Is everybody sort of, can you just let me know, put your hand up if I'm not making sense. So write down, think one thing, take one of your strengths and your environment and think of a habit that you can form that puts you on the path to where you want to be. Anybody want to share?
Sure. I'll smile every day when I go to work in the morning, and I'll say good morning.
Excellent. I tell you what, my old workplace, as people walked through the door, I'd yell because I was on the other side of the room from the front door. I'd be like, "Good morning!" like across the room, and they always used to like, "Oh my gosh, she's so loud." The day I left, I got all these messages like, "We miss you so much." So it really works. It really does work.
Yeah.
Honestly, changing your environment. So I moved from a 3-bedroom house by myself with my dog. So yeah, it really was hard. So I did all of that, and then on the other side of it, I literally became a budget queen. So I lived super frugally. I was spending no more than $40 a week on groceries. I moved into a house that cost me $135 a week. I mean, it was Moldville, but that's fine. I just learned, and it was an entire mindset thing. It literally was. I made a lot of sacrifices along the way. I also met some amazing people along the way as well. But it was really hard, like back to the tribe thing. It was really hard when you have friends or people that want to be your friend, and they're like, "Cool, let's go out for this like a night on the town," and I'm like, I cannot afford $120 to do that. So it was all about finding the people that I surrounded myself with that were happy for me to troll through, grab one until we found a perfect lunch voucher, $25 steaks. So there is, go along, follow the Instagram. At the moment, I was just saying before, I've just started a house buying journey, so about to get into that, just gone for pre-approval.
Wow.
Yeah, a year after debt-free, I was debt-free a year yesterday, and now I'm about to buy a house. The nuts and bolts of it is, it's quite, I could talk forever about finances because I'm very passionate about it, pretty good at it. But yeah, it was definitely a mindset, it was a whole mindset that I had to be debt-free. That's what I was going to do.
I think also you approached the banks and just constantly thinking, how can I do this? How can I wiggle that? How can I put that? It was every day, Mum, I've done this. Mum, I've done that. It was just this constant, it was there all the time. That was your constant focus. Yeah. So now the focus is the house. So we've got 3 lined up this week. Don't look there.
And then just on that as well, I never accepted the status quo. So back to my my impossibility is not a fact. I never accepted, like if somebody said to me, no, that's not how it goes, I'm like, okay, but how can we make it go that way? So, and banks don't like it when you do that. Oopsie. But I'm different. So,
when they do their job.
yeah, when you challenge it, when you constantly like, can we do it this way? What if we do this? What if we do that? How about if we do this? So, yeah, it was, and I hated paying interest. So yeah, did that sort of answer your question?
Yeah.
I could literally talk about it for hours, so better not. Any other questions? Okay. As he said, just don't hesitate to come chat to me, or I am on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Apparently I'm going to be on YouTube soon, I've been told. So don't hesitate to get in touch. I'm always happy to help people. Love it, and I'm very energetic. So, thanks guys.
Thank you.